Surprise! We have a bonus episode for you today on Rooted in Retail. I am so excited to share this webinar that I did with my dear friend, Susan Nagin from Whizbang Training. It's all about your local listings. And here's the deal there are so many things that you can do and tweaks you can make, and probably things you had no idea that you could do with your listings to help you be found when people are Googling and searching for the products that you sell. I don't want my Rooted in Retail listeners to miss out on that traffic. And so often we've heard our retailers say, I feel like I'm the best kept secret. I've been in business here forever and people still come in and say, are you new here? So you're going to learn a lot in this episode. And man, Susan, she asks such great questions and really helps dissect local listings. And I view these as your digital storefronts. They're so important if you have a brick and mortar business. So please listen to this. I say this in the beginning of the episode, listings aren't that sexy, but they're so important for you to understand the power of them, how they work, how they get updated, how you can optimize, how you can get more traffic for it. And here's something that's really important. In this episode, this is a webinar we did in November for the Whizbang Training audience. And I said, Susan, that was so good. Can I use this and put it on our Rooted in Retail podcast? Because I want our listeners to really understand listings. It's so important. Listings, it's so important. And so she was like, sure, that sounds great. So here's something very special for my Rooted in Retail listeners. Okay. It pays to be a listener. In this episode, you're going to hear us talking about a special offer that we have just for Whizbang Training retailers. We are extending that for our Rooted in Retail listeners. So you can go to the link that's in the show notes or on our website to get listed, and you can save 20% on a yearly subscription. This is done for you listings management and optimization, which I talk all about in this episode. We can do it all for you, and we break down what that is included. You get that 20% off. We're extending it through January 15th, 2024. So in the episode, we say it expires November 12th. Nope, it's extended a couple more months for my Rooted listeners. So again, it pays to be a listener. You're going to get so much info from this. You can take action. There are things you can be doing, and there are things we can do for you at Crystal Media. So let's dive in to this epic episode. And I just want to give a big thanks to Susan Nagin and Whizbang Training for being our partners and bringing this service to the attention of retailers, because it's critical, in my opinion, to your success. All right, let's dive in. Welcome to Rooted in Retail, the show that's dedicated to helping independent retailers thrive in today's ever-evolving retail landscape. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me weekly as we explore topics that are vital to the success of your store. From marketing to mindset, money to merchandising, sales to leadership, we'll cover it all. Each episode features interviews with industry experts and accomplished retailers who share their real-life insights and actionable advice. Get ready for a great conversation on how to build your dream business with Rooted in Retail.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm super excited you are here, and I am really, really, really super excited to have one of our very best retail friends and absolutely wonderful person, Crystal Vilkaitis, on with us today. And I tell you what, it was really fun because Crystal came with Pauline from her office, and she came to visit us here in Grand Haven. I don't know, how long ago was that, Crystal? Like a month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that?
Yeah, like almost just a month ago. Like it
Was it?
seemed like, I know.
We were eating on the beach, and today it's like
Yes,
almost snowing, right? But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, just so a couple of weeks ago came to visit us, and Crystal was sharing with with us about this whole idea about online listings and how important they are for our businesses. And we were like, we got to get together and talk about this, girl, because it's so critical for our local retailers. And I just don't know that there's enough thinking around it, enough emphasis around it, but wow, can really make a huge difference in people's businesses. So thank you so much for coming on today to talk about this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. We had such a great time being together. And now I know like where your office is, where you're
Right.
filming and the whole behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And It is really an important conversation. I feel like social media is kind of the sexier topic and people kind of like talking about that.
Sure.
This isn't, as glamorous, but it's foundational. Like you have to have it. So I'm glad we're
It
here.
is. It is table stakes. It is literally table stakes if you want to be a successful independent retailer. So I know
Yeah.
when we were talking about it when we were together, that's when we were like, okay, we need to have a webinar. We need to get together. We need to share this info more widely, and talk about it more with our retailers because I think probably neither one of us talk about it enough, because there's so many different things. But I think especially at the holidays, this is going to be really, really important. So I'm excited that all of you guys are here with us live today, and I know that you are going to be blown away by the stuff that Crystal's going to share with you. And I know that you are going to learn so much. I know we did when we were working together in our office, and Crystal pulled up her computer and she's like, "Did you know this? And look at this. And here, let's do a scan on this business." And I was like, so it was really, really cool. And we are going to be doing some live scans today. So stick around for that. That's going to be really fun and interesting. But before we really get started, I'd love to have you guys just tell us who's here. Go ahead and put your name, your business name, where you're from. Just put it in chat. Do we have folks watching us, Indy? We sure do.
Margaret from Wisconsin.
Hi, Margaret.
We have Natalie from Northern Michigan.
Nice.
We have Gooey Gump Design.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Julie Taylor from Grand Haven. Hi, neighbor.
Hi, Julie. Good to see you. From just down the street from us. Yeah.
Kimberly from Virginia.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yep, and lots of people piling.
Lots of people piling in. Anyway, we are super, super excited that you guys are here, and listening to Crystal, because I think that, these online listing ideas that we're going to be talking about today are important every single day of the year, but honestly, even more so at the holidays. Obviously, everything is kind of amplified at the holidays and during the holiday season, but we're super amplified during the holidays. So we're going to talk about why that is. We're going to talk about so many things. So, Crystal, my first question to you is just like a kind of a really foundational question, and that's probably one of the questions that Bob and I asked when we were with you in Grand Haven, and that is just like, so, like, online business listing, like that's what we're going to be talking about today, is these online business listings. And when I think of that, I just think of my Google business profile. Like that's
Mhm.
what I think of. But can you just tell me a little bit more about like what encompasses that big idea of online business listing?
Absolutely. I think majority of people think of their Google business profile as their business listing, but there
Yeah.
are so many other platforms and channels and data aggregators that are out there for every single brick and mortar business that exists. And so, some of the big ones is obviously Google, MapQuest, Bing, Dext, the Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. We know of those brands, but then there are several other listing websites that I'll show some of those when we do those live scans at the end of this call.
Mm-hmm.
That we maybe haven't heard of before, or maybe you've heard of it, but you don't personally use it. So you
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's not
Not
important.
important.
It's very important because, a couple of different reasons. I mean, as a business, you want to make sure like you have actual signage on your store, right? Like we're
Yeah.
not opening up our stores without having our sign, and we want as much of the people that are physically around us to be able to see our brand and our store name and what we carry. And the same goes for online. But we often will just think like, "Oh, well, I have to do that through social media." And you should be showing up there, but that is very time consuming. There are foundational listings that has your store information that you want to make sure that you're first of all listed on all of the
First of all, you
platforms.
want to show
Yes.
up.
Yes. Because if you don't show up, you don't exist. right? I mean,
Right.
the consumer has so many choices today, so many choices. So if you're not showing up, you do not exist. So we want to make sure that we're listed everywhere that has information about our business, whether you use it or not, because the
Mm-hmm.
consumers could be using those platforms.
Yeah.
But then, secondly, we all know Google. We care about Google a lot, right? Like we're all going to Google to try to find products to
A
buy
lot. We care
a
about
lot.
them a lot.
Yes, exactly. So Google cares a lot about all the other listing sites
Yeah.
because imagine this, imagine that you ask somebody, "Hey, where's the best place to have pizza in Chicago? I'm actually going to Chicago tomorrow. I'm probably going
What?
to have some pizza." Yeah. And so it's like if I asked you, "Where's the best pizza place?" and you gave me an example, you
Sure.
gave me the place. And then I asked somebody else and I asked Bob and Bob is like, "Oh, this place Susan and I love," but he gives me a different name
Mm-hmm.
or, and then let's say I ask Indy on the team. She wants to say the same place, but she can't remember what street it's on. And then Aubrey on your team is like, "Yeah, but I think they're actually closed on
On
Thursday."
Friday. Yeah.
Right? So imagine if there was all this different information for the pizza place.
And conflicting
I'm
information even.
conflicting, I'm going to feel like, oh, I don't know if this is where I am going to go. So, because it's personal recommendation, there's a good chance I would go because I personally know you. But
Mhm.
think about from the Google perspective. So somebody goes to Google and is saying pizza near me or best pizza in Chicago. And Google is then spidering the entire web and all the information that it has on all the pizza places nearby and it's going to display the ones that have the most consistent, accurate information in the most places. So if you have wrong information on 10 different listing sites, that's all kind of a little different, you're not going to be as strong as the pizza place that has everywhere is exactly listed the same. Google feels confident in showing those places higher in the search result because it's correct and accurate on several different listing sites. So that's why we care about these other listing sites.
It makes so much sense. So, like, if you asked 10 friends and they all said, "Oh, yeah, you should go to Pizzeria Due. They have gluten-free crust and they're open on Fridays from this to this." And if all 10 said the same thing, you'd be like, "Absolutely, that's where I'm going."
Yep.
Whereas if they all said something different or didn't have the information, you might not go.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. If I
I love
really
that.
need
I
that
love
gluten
that.
free, I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe, maybe not. So, and like, so that's what Google's doing. It's going out and asking 10 friends,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and since Google probably is the most important one, but because all these others are important to Google, they're important to you. Did I
Yep.
kind of sum that up?
You got it. Perfect.
Okay. You guys, do you see how important this is? Do you see why these listing things are so important? It's just like it's foundational. It really is.
Starting.
So this is really good. So one of the statistics that you shared with us just kind of blew me away. And of course, it makes perfect sense when I think about it, but it was still like a little startling to actually hear it. And you said that something like, I think you said 89% of customers are going out and searching for something before they go and make that visit to a local business. Yeah?
Yep. Yep, exactly. And on average, business listings receive 2.7 times more views than their company website. So you're getting double to
Sure.
triple the views on your listings before they're even going to your website, before they're going to your store. So we got to make sure we've got the right information and we're really standing out. Like we've got all the updated info. It's critical.
Yeah, that completely tracks with my personal experience, like that little map with the all the little
Yep.
places, like it just shows up. Well, Google, because it's their product, they put it up at the top of their search feed. So of
Yes.
course, they people go and they look at that first. And then if they're interested, they might go to your website or then they might go to your store and take a
Yeah,
visit, right? Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yep.
so so I think the problem is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but seems like the problem is that so many local businesses, independent businesses, retailers, plumbers, whatever, all of
Yeah.
us, we don't really pay that much attention to any of those listings. And so what they see when they come to those listings isn't great. They're not getting managed properly, right?
Yeah, exactly. We call these unmanaged listings. And often what you see is you're exactly right. The retailer maybe isn't really paying attention to it, doesn't really understand why it's important. It sometimes feels like it's just another thing I have to do. There's
Add it to
also
the list.
exactly. And there's also these frustrations because some of these listing sites, unless you actually go through the whole claim process or you're using third party technology, you can't actually control what it says. So there can be frustration because it could be wrong information. I mean, this has happened so many times. And a perfect example of this, Pauline and I, we have a friend, her name is Heidi. Heidi needed a gift for a 2-year-old's birthday. She
Mhm.
also has a 2-year-old. So she goes, and Heidi loves shopping local, sustainable mama, like is just going local as much as she can. So she finds a local toy store in Southern California, and online it says that they open at 10. So
Sure.
her and her 2-year-old are there right at 10 and nobody's there
She hauls her
because
kid, puts him
yep,
in the car, straps him in the car seat, takes the massive diaper bag,
yep,
and they're not
exactly.
open. I know where
So
this story's
nobody's open.
going.
Uh-huh. So she goes next door to the smoothie store to be like, well, maybe they're just kind of late, right? Maybe they had a tough morning. So I'm just going to go get a smoothie, come back over 15-20 minutes, still nobody's there. So Heidi goes to Target because she's not going to wait around until the store comes and come to find out they actually opened at 11, but online was reflecting the wrong hours. So that's one example of if you're not paying attention to this, then you can have a really bad customer experience. And then what do people do? They're more likely to share those reviews when they're mad than when they're happy.
For
So then
sure.
they're going to these listing sites and they're writing the review that future people are going to see. And like I said, with some of these sites, if you don't have control and you haven't claimed them, then these can be overwritten by other third party websites. So that's how, because we've talked
Wait,
to so many retailers. Yeah.
say that again? Say that again?
So the information that's listed in some of these listing websites for the business, that information can actually be overwritten by different data aggregators and listing sites. And even the consumer on some of these sites can change listing information, business information, unless you have control. Like you lock it in that I own this and
I've
I'm the only
claimed
one that
it.
can make those. Yep, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's where just that I feel like that might clear up some questions that people watching might have because we feel that frustration like why is it wrong? I can't fix it. I've been trying to do it. How is it getting my old address? Like if you've ever moved, there's a good chance that you have wrong addresses. If you I've talked to retailers who their cell phone is listed
Oh
as
my
their phone
gosh,
number.
their personal
Yeah.
cell phone.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Not
we
good.
don't want that. We
No.
don't want that. Um, we've seen so many scans too where it's like there are no photos and no information. That as a consumer, I feel like you're out of business.
Yeah.
I feel like, are you really? Oh, it says open, but like I don't see anything on you. I need that confidence to come in and shop at your store. So if I don't see those photos, if I don't see all that information, that you're really missing out. And the other thing too, with a lot of retailers we've worked with, they might have had somebody on their team set this up for them like years ago. Let's say
Sure.
5 to 7 years ago.
10 years ago,
Yep,
even. Yeah.
it could even be more. And the photos that were used are from 5 to 7 years ago. So, if I'm looking for a Christmas gift or if I'm looking for an anniversary gift or a new outfit or whatever I'm shopping for, and I'm seeing photos from 5 years ago, you don't look like you're up to date here.
Yeah.
You don't look like you're on trend, like you have what I need, and again, you can look like you're out of business. So there is you're right. I think we just don't put a lot of interest in it. We don't put a lot of effort into it. It feels like it's just another thing. Yet we have a lot of those frustrations. And there's also this thing that happens like the retailer could be standing with their phone right or a customer could be standing right in front of, let's say it's a shoe retailer.
Yeah.
they're like, let's say they're 2 doors down. I get out of my car, I park, and I'm like, shoe retailer near me. And the one that's optimized and has all the right information, but that's going to display. But I might see that it's a mile down. So I get back in my car and I drive down, even though your store is walking distance right here. But
Yeah.
if you don't have the right keywords, if you're not claimed, if you don't have the right information, you're not going to show up for that. Or depending on how you look, I might drive the mile because they've got up-to-date stuff, you
Yeah.
know? So
It's like I love what you just said. Like it's like seared in my brain. Like we may not think that this is important, or we don't. Well, I think what you said is we might not have a lot of interest in this. I think that's exactly what you said. We might not have a lot of interest in up keeping this stuff up to date, but our customers have a lot of interest in this. A lot.
exactly. Yeah.
89%
Yeah.
are using
Exactly.
this info when they are deciding where to shop. So
Yeah.
really awesome. So you have some examples that you're gonna share with us?
Yes.
So
Yes.
first of all,
Okay. And I'm good.
before we get to your examples, any questions, any comments that people are leaving us?
No questions, but a ton of comments of people just saying that they're so frustrated with the inaccuracies. They're
Yes.
getting angry phone calls from people about the
Yes.
wrong hours being displayed places.
I
They're
think
feeling like they have no
they
control.
don't have any control. I think like I've heard this from so many people that they're like, I tried to change my hours and it's not working and it's not updating. Like I get it. Like
Yep.
it is super frustrating. So guys,
Yep.
if you do have questions for Crystal, just go ahead and pop them in chat and Indy will pass them on to us. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing any questions before you gave us your examples. So go ahead.
Okay, so a couple of examples. First thing I want to say, we hear this all the time from retailers. And if you can agree with this or relate to this, put it in the chat. Has anybody come into your store and said, oh, are you new here?
Oh,
And you're like, no, we've been in business for 85 years or however long that you've been in business, right?
yes.
And you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that you don't know." And the person's like, "Oh, I've lived here my whole life." It's not like they're visitors or anything. They didn't know that you were around. So we call those our best kept secrets. And we don't want our retailers to be our best kept secrets. So a great example of this, actually a very personal one of my dearest friends, she's actually my matron of honor in my wedding.
Oh,
She opened her own insurance agency last year. So she's brand new. And this isn't a retailer, but just anybody who's like opening a
sure.
brand new store, brand new insurance business. And within 3 weeks of putting her on our software, it's called Get Listed, where we do all this for you. Somebody Googles, she shows up top because she's optimized, even though she's only 3 weeks old. Like this is a brand new business and ended up getting a client from that. So if you're brand new or if you've been around for a long time, we need to make sure you exist so people aren't like, are you new here?
No.
Another yeah, no, we don't want any more best kept secrets. One of the coolest things and one of our coolest stories we have with a get listed client, we were working with a sewing machine store. She's actually in Michigan. And she again, it was about 3 or 4 weeks of getting her listings optimized, claimed, all the right information. And she sold Bernina sewing machines.
Yeah.
So Bernina is a big, consumer known brand. People love Bernina. And so she shared with us that she had a customer come into her store and the customer said, I have been searching for new Bernina sewing machine for months and I just keep Googling and keep Googling and only one store in our area keeps coming up, which is blah, blah, blah. And I didn't want to go shop with them because I've had a really bad experience. I
Mm.
keep Googling and all of a sudden you showed up and this customer has tears in her eyes. She's crying
Oh
because
my
she's
gosh.
so happy to find a new Bernina dealer in her area to get her $16,000 machine because
Wow.
Michelle finally showed up. Her store finally showed up because we put Bernina in the listing. So I want everybody to be listening to this, like any consumer known brands that you carry,
Brands.
Vera Bradley, Yeti,
Yeah.
Pandora, any of those brands you carry. Jellycat is so big right now. Like,
Patagonia. Whatever.
yes. Yes, exactly. Those need to be in your listings because we need to step into the mind of our customer. What are they putting in Google to find and buy? And especially think about we're going to get to holidays, think about those holiday gift items,
Oh,
ornaments,
so,
holiday
so, so important.
decor, right? So if you sell any of that, all of that information needs to be in your listing too. So be in the mind, what are they searching for? And you could show up like Michelle did. So that's a perfect example. We've got several examples of the consumer known brand, people finding and coming in to buy it because it was listed in their listings.
Yeah, so I think this is really interesting because I think a lot of times when we think of this, we might just think our customers are, typing in something like florist near me, like I use that one all the time, or florist in Durango, Colorado, or whatever. Um, but I think they're probably, you're right, more often even they're looking for a specific thing. Like they're
Yeah.
and perfect, especially at holiday, they're looking for a specific thing, a specific brand, even like different types of products, like wind chimes, or I don't know, like I'm just
Yeah.
making this up, right? But like
Yeah.
something really specific that your store might carry that they're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And
all
yeah.
that can
And
go, because this sounds really robust. So like all that can and should go into your online listings.
yes. And so, in all transparency, you on your own, if you don't have third party software, we do at Crystal Media. If you don't have it, you can add those to your Google business profile and some of those other listing sites that I mentioned. And again, I'll show you a bunch of them towards the end of this call.
Yep.
Some of those you can do on your own, but when you have third party data, it will allow you to add additional fields into those listings. For example, products categories. So that's something we do for our retailers is
Okay.
we optimize, but then because we have that software, we can add in products categories on several other listing sites. But you have to have the software to do that. So just a heads up there, but they can do some of it on their own.
So this seems like super important to me because they might be. I'm just thinking about holiday in
Mhm.
particular, and we always talk about this idea of our holiday customer is a little different than our normal customer because they're giving a gift. They're looking for a gift that they themselves personally may not be familiar with, what the best store is, where to go to find it, and do I need to buy it online? Heaven forbid, right? But so I think this is so I I guess I always think of, like, if I was going to be googling a product or a brand or something, that I'm just thinking that I'm going to get an online referral, referral to some sort of online shopping option. But what you're saying is really up towards the top of all the Google listings are going to come up with some, if you have this kind of info on your listing, they're going to show the local option as well. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly,
Wow,
exactly. So,
that's
for
big.
example, like one year I wanted to get my dad and his wife Yeti coffee mugs.
Yeah.
So, putting in Yeti to Google, if there's a retailer near me that has Yeti and Yeti coffee mugs in their display or in their listings, they're going to display for that information. And I could be like, oh my gosh, the store right down the street has Yeti coffee mugs. I much rather go in, obviously, and support local, but then there's this whole other, speaking of different buyer for the holidays, my hand is up, last minute shoppers. And
Yeah.
so so, like getting those things, if people are, trying to buy online, you can't, there's a deadline.
Yep.
And so when I can see that I can get these items, I feel like there's always that moment, like a day or two before Christmas, you're like, I feel like I didn't get enough gifts for so and so,
Yeah.
right? So you're
Yeah.
like feverishly going to try to Google to find some creative, unique, and think of those things too, those types of keywords to optimize your listings for the holidays, like funny, or like we always do white elephant. So great, unique white elephant gifts, or funny secret Santa gifts, or gifts for teachers, or gifts for children 2 to 5. Like, think of those things that people are plugging in to find trending 2023 holiday gifts for girls. Like all of those things we want you to display for so people find you versus go online.
This it to me, it's like honestly transformational. Do you see why we feel like this is so important for you guys? It's transformational, it's foundational. If you think this is amazing stuff that Crystal's giving you right now, put a little heart or clapping hands or a thumbs up. Give her some love because, like, and let me what when I have thought about this idea of online listing, this is far more expansive and more powerful than, you know, I mean, I guess I kind of knew it, but really it's like it's so so important to get this right. Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is. And just another little angle part of this of what we do through Get Listed and something that whether you work with us or not, you should be doing. We know that reviews are so important, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's another thing. We're looking at, do you have what I'm wanting to buy? Are you near me? What are your hours? Do you have up to date, photos and I feel like you're on trend, but also I want to make sure that you have I totally lost my train of thought. What did I just say, Susan?
Reviews, reviews, reviews.
Reviews, we want thank you.
Stick with
We
it,
wanna
Crystal. I
make
gotcha. I gotcha.
thank you, thank you. We wanna make sure that, like, people love the store, right? And we also wanna make sure that you're getting those reviews, you're replying to those reviews. So,
Yeah.
when through our technology, anytime you get a new review, you're gonna get a notification about that review, so you can go
Wow.
over, respond, and then I really encourage people to take it further, like, especially with those raving reviews, that's great social media content. You can put that on your website, you can send that out in an email. And so we just right? Like, we wanna leverage those reviews
Gotta
and really
leverage the
try to
content.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
I think that
exactly.
that is awesome. All right. So you've mentioned Get Listed a couple of times, and I can see, like, how frustrating this is for, people, like, there are, like, 60 plus more of these
Yeah,
listing sites, and you said at the very beginning of our call today that some of them you can't even get to if you haven't claimed your listing, and you gotta know where they all are and all this stuff. So,
right.
tell us about Get Listed because, you know, we like I said, after we had our day together with you guys, we are like, wow, this is so important. We need to make sure that people know about A, how important this is, and B, about your Get Listed service. Because it's
Right.
really done for me work, right? I love this.
It is. It's totally hands off for our retailers. So here's the deal. It's foundational. It's your digital signage. It's your digital storefront. If you don't show up, you don't exist. And
Yeah.
we wanted to make this as easy as possible on our retailers. We've worked with them for over a decade and we know that technology and time can be challenges and can be pain points. So with Get Listed, we have the technology to claim your 60 plus listings, to optimize, to add those products and categories and up to date photos. We do all of it for you. You don't learn the software we use. There was this, as we're learning this whole software, we're taking this on. I'm like, I don't want retailers logging into this. I don't want to be teaching another software for them. They're never going to do it. And
Yeah.
if they never do it, it's if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Hmm.
So you need to be logging in, you need to be updating your listings monthly is what we recommend. So
Really,
we do that.
every month you should
Yeah.
go in and update your listings because, of course, like,
Yes.
your hours might change from the
Yep.
holidays to winter to summer. Your products might change.
Exactly. You might have a different featured message, like a call out that you want to feature. So like December might be all about your Christmas ornaments, like maybe you have the biggest collection, come in and shop today, but then January is maybe a you're doing a 10% off certain items, or February you really want to focus on Valentine's Day. So we can change those featured messages. We
Wow.
will go to the retailer's Facebook and or Instagram and pull some of their newer photos that they're publishing, and we'll also put them over on Google and their listing sites so it's updated.
So
We
wait,
do
they
it
don't
for
have to
them.
be constantly sending you stuff?
No,
No.
we
You're
do
gonna
this
do
for
it
them.
for them.
Yes.
I love this.
So we will. You get a dedicated listings manager and they'll reach out to you every month in case you are like, "Oh, I really want this on my listings. I want to make sure that you have this." They'll reach out. So don't and you can reach out anytime that you want to too. But if we don't hear from our retailers, which happens a lot because they get a ton of emails every day, They're doing so many things. They have the best intention, but it's like there's only so much we can get to in a day.
Sure.
So, if we don't hear from our retailers, we'll go over to their Facebook, to their Instagram. We'll pull some of that content just to make sure it gets updated every month. And I want to just say, the obvious reason of why it should be updated is if you have featured messages, events, promotions, we always want those to be front and center and changed. Also, we want to show relevant, timely photos. So it
Sure.
really shows today's experience. And then also, these search engines love new content. They're going to favor listings that have fresh new content because as you give fresh, new, relevant content, it makes Google and all these other listing sites more accurate and more robust. So that can help from your search perspective as well.
So, okay, so I'm gonna like pull a couple of threads together that are just going through my brain. So we started in the very beginning. We started talking about this idea that that there are all these different online, because like I'm thinking like my Google profile, like, okay, maybe I could update my Google profile once a month. Like I could put that on my calendar and do that. But if I had to do that, but Google wants everybody to be consistent, showing the same pictures, giving the same message, having the same hours, having the same
Yes.
phone number, all that stuff. They want them to be consistent, as your idea about the like getting the pizza recommendation that we talked about. So doing like 60 all like that's just like I could never do that. Uh-oh, did we lose her?
I know. I went a little crazy there, but I'm back. Oh, hold
Okay.
on, hold on.
Huh, hang on. We lost you. Okay, anyway. So I'm going to keep talking while she's getting her technology back in order, because like to me this is the big deal, is that Google's looking at all these other places, and if you want, you can update one place, but like getting it updated everywhere so that it's consistent and the same everywhere, that to me is that's massive. Like that you do it, it's like a done for me service, and that it's so easy, and yet it's so important in terms of getting found online.
Yeah.
This is why you guys, this is why we wanted Crystal to come on and talk today. So I'm just packaging all this together in my brain. So
Yeah.
just
And Susan, I just want to say we use the same technology that big boxes use, like Bank of America, Chick-fil-A. So it gives the independents the same technology that big boxes use so they can show up and be more competitive. But we don't make their marketing departments do the listings and update for them. We are the marketing department. We do it for them.
I love that, because you know we all know that these big box stores are our competitors, as well as our other local independent brick and mortars. So to have that technology become ubiquitous for us through your service is just, I love it. That's
Yeah.
really really cool. All right, so one of the things that you mentioned is that it really saves time because you don't have to do this all the time. How much time to get started with Get Listed?
Okay. This is,
Because time
I
is
think, going to be
obviously
exciting.
everybody's biggest issue.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. All the retailer needs to do after they sign up is we need 20 minutes. Takes about 20 minutes for them to fill out our form. And then from there, we do everything else. And in 72 hours, they're listed on over 60 platforms and they're ready to rock and roll. So 20
Wow.
minutes, that's it. That's it.
That is really cool. So, like, you even talked about some of examples, like your friend Heidi and the sewing machine dealer here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, within just a couple of weeks, they were already like massively getting new clients in the door. Not to mention the better search criteria, the better reputation, just better experience for the customers in general. So, I
Exactly.
absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. This is super great. So okay, because like honestly, I never even thought about doing things like putting all my events on,
Mhm.
our the online or those things. So I think it's really fantastic. All right, we're gonna show some people how this works. We're gonna show how this works. We're gonna do some live scans. Yeah.
Let's do some live
Wait.
scans.
Well, first,
Let's
let's
do
see. Do
it.
we have any
Yeah.
questions, Indy? Were there any questions?
No questions right
No questions. Are people
now.
loving this content? So
Yes,
like
mind blown.
so many great ideas. Like whether you're using Get Listed or not, but why wouldn't you? Because anyway, like this is a lot.
Right.
But like so much great content and like like I said, you just like ripped the blinders off of my eyes as to I mean, I knew it was important, but like seriously, how important this is, really
Yeah.
important. So, okay,
Well,
let's
that's
now we go on
I
to our
just have to say
examples.
that's why yeah, that's why I was like, we gotta come out and show you guys this
Yeah.
because it's so foundational, but it's not interesting. How do we help the retailers understand the importance? Because they're missing out completely if they are not leveraging this that's so hands off for them. So obviously I'm very passionate about it and excited about it too. So Indy, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, you got us
And then
passionate and excited about it too. So that's why we decided, okay, we gotta let our folks know more about this stuff. So thanks for coming on.
exactly. Okay, I wanna make sure Indy can see or can you see my screen
Yep,
okay?
we're good.
Perfect. Okay. So we pulled a couple of examples that are in Grand Rapids since you guys I know you're in Grand Haven, but the Retail Success Summit's in
Our
Grand
nearby
Rapids.
big town. Yep.
Yeah, so here's an example. Woosaw Outfitters is the retailer. And if you're on this call, you should talk to us because we've got some listings inaccuracy. So this is what's called our scan tool. And retailers watching this can use this. This is a free tool that's on our website, and you can go in and plug in your business information, and it's going to tell you your accuracy. You're going to see from the business name, address, phone number, which we call that NAP, your name, address, phone number. Those are like the basics. On all the listing sites, we should have those correct, but there's so much more we do through Get Listed. It
Okay,
will
so
also tell you,
can I ask you a question? So when
yeah,
it says 92% listings inaccuracy, does that mean that the business name, the address and phone number is not consistent across all these different listing sites like at a 92% rate?
yeah, it means that it's either inconsistent, not accurate, or it's not even listed at
Doesn't even
all.
exist. That's
Exactly.
horrible. Yeah, that's I feel sad.
Horrible.
Yeah,
I know. I
for
know.
our
We got to talk
friends.
to Woodstock
Yeah,
Outfitters.
I know. I feel like I got
Um,
to go knock on their door now.
I know, exactly. So then if we scroll down, these are all the listing sites that I mentioned, and I'll scroll back up here in a second, but you can see, just to give all of our viewers an example of all the different places that they can have their information listed on that Google cares about, that Google
Sure.
checks. I mean,
Chamberofcommerce.com, of course. Like
yep,
you but who'd
yep,
have thought of that? I would never have thought of that.
exactly. Insider pages around me. And again, I know you haven't heard of a lot of these, but they're still important. Like here we see that they're listed on Silex, which I don't know what that is, but they do have their wrong. They don't have
Name.
outfitters in their
Yep.
name, which you always want that consistency. Also, outfitters is a keyword. So we want to make
Yes.
sure that that's in the name everywhere you're listed. So
100%.
these are all, and just so for the viewers that know, if you scan your site or scan your business, you can click on each of these and it will take you to that actual listing page. And then you can see what information is on there. So, like, for example, I think it was Dext, one of our clients, Rusty, who has a gift shop. He clicked over and he was listed as a jeweler. He's not a jeweler. He's a gift shop. So that he had the wrong category. So we of course cleaned that up for him. So if we look at this example, what you're probably seeing is they're not listed in a lot of places. Bing has the right, information. Yelp, it's Woosaw again. Same with Facebook. There's no phone number on Yelp. I mean, think about how many people do use Yelp. They're really missing an opportunity there.
Tons. Tons.
Uh, yeah, we've got a different phone number under local.com. That could be a cell phone number, it could be an old number, or maybe they have two lines, but really we want the consistency there.
Maybe it's
And
their
then
old fax number or something like that,
oh, exactly. Yep, we see
right?
that too. Fax numbers listed. Uh-huh. And then just not listed on any of these other platforms. So
Wow.
that's one example. We've got another one over here. Let me actually I'll share, let me go back here and I'll share a different screen. Stop sharing. And I'm going to share screen and do this one. Okay, you can see my screen for Oh Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Oh Hello Co. Paper and Gifts, also in Grand Rapids. They're doing a little bit better, but still at that 87% inaccuracy. The other thing I didn't mention on the other one is this will tell you the percentage of similar businesses in your region who have better reviews. So, if anyone's competitive or wants to make sure that you're really like getting more reviews because the consumer really cares about
You
seeing
do.
those ratings, then that could give a good fire for you to get more
None of you
reviews if
guys
you're
are
low.
competitive at all. You don't want to be
No,
better than your competitors, do you? I can't imagine.
no, not at
Yeah.
all. Not at all. So then we've got some correct information on Bing, Facebook, which is great. Yelp is good. Just so your listeners know, MapQuest, you can't even access your MapQuest. Like you can't be listed there without third party software.
Mm.
So that was a big like controversial thing that MapQuest did, but we have access to that, so we can get them listed.
Oh,
Oh,
look
look at
at
this!
that yellow
Why?
pages. Tax
Yeah,
strategies.
tax strategies, but it's the same phone number. So that company probably had their phone number, and they're the ones that are showing up for that number, which is terrible. We got it
Yeah.
over here too. Show me local.
Wow.
Um, Yep, and then we've got Oh Hello Branding Group, which I bet is their, like, corporate umbrella, their the name they're registered
And
under.
different
We don't
numbers. Different phone
and a
number.
different phone number. Exactly. Yep, we've got the tax strategies again. I bet they get people calling them, "Oh, look, we've got Cross Creek condominiums." For some reason, even though this is all wrong information, they're pulling in this listing for that information, which is we got a lot. Reynolds Planning Services.
This is blowing my mind, Crystal, because duh, no wonder like Google is totally confused about who this business is, where they're
Yep.
actually located, and what they do.
Exactly. Yep,
So,
they're totally missing out. Now, one thing I want to point out, because I'm sure Google is up at the top left. Often what we find is Google is often accurate because a lot of our retailers do care about Google, so they will
sure.
have the right information. They just
Sure.
don't do anything else here. And our scan tool, our technology sometimes has a problem tapping in to scan their profile. So if they do any kind of scans and they see this problem, I just want to address that out the gate that that's on our tech side of not being able to scan, but you can still go to your Google profile and see the information that's listed there.
Yeah.
Check the name, check the address, check the phone number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing to see those live scans and, see a business that obviously they care about their business, they care about their customers, they want to succeed, and like just like shooting themselves in the foot a little bit like that
Mhm.
with
Exactly.
those
And that's
I
one thing too, if you use this scan tool, like I said, you could click and go over and see your listing, see the hours. Are they reflecting holiday hours? See those photos that are being used, see the categories you're listed. Like really look because that's just going to give you the name, address, and phone number with our scan tool. But you
Sure.
can go and dig deeper to see that information. And I bet majority of people on this call are going to find areas of opportunity to show up, to look better, to stand out, and to just be listed in the first place. And obviously, that's why we call it get listed.
Yeah, I it's just well, it is not only is the inaccurate stuff
Mhm.
crazy, but like how many just not listed on these places.
Yeah.
And yeah, Indy's got a question for us.
Yeah, great
Okay.
question from Shannon. She's wondering if this is valid in Canada as well.
Will it work in
I
Canada?
I have great news, Shannon, because it didn't for a long time. And as of this year, we can help Canadian stores. So we're so excited about
Because
that.
we love
Yes,
our Canadians.
we
That's
do.
awesome. That is a super
Yes,
great question. That
all
is
clear for
really
Canada.
cool.
Yeah.
Guys, do you have any other questions for Crystal? Like, what kinds of things should I be updating, or, any other questions? Any other questions for Crystal? And I'll just go ahead and pop them in the chat. We're gonna definitely take those questions. But I bet one of the questions is they want to know a little bit more about Get Listed. That's Indy's going, yep, that's their, yep, that's,
Depends on if it's a tool or a service.
yep.
And
So is it a tool? Is it a service? What's
Got it.
included? How does it work?
Okay, so get listed. We have technology. So that's the tool aspect of it. So you're getting access to our technology, but you don't have to learn it. We do it all for you. And it's a service. So it's a done for you listings management service where we go in, we claim your listings on all those listing sites we just went over. We add and make sure all the correct information is on all those listing sites. Then we optimize because in that form that you're going to fill out in the beginning, we're going to ask you about the consumer known brands, the products, the categories, anything that makes you special, like parking, wheelchair access, minority owned, women owned. We can add all that stuff to your listings. So we then go optimize, add all that information. We'll get the updated photos. I also recommend having your business logo on there. So most people don't. We'll have your logo on there. And then every month, we're going to send that email to you from your listings manager. If you have anything you need to change, add, you brought on a new product line, you're changing your holiday store hours, anything, a new event. If we don't hear from you, we're still going to update it based on what we see on Facebook. We'll grab some of that. Then every month, you're also getting reports on the searches that you're getting. So you get some of that data on how you're
Wow.
being found and what kind of search results you're seeing from these listings. Also, I mentioned this earlier, when you get a new review, you're going to get that email that says you have a new review, so you can go in and respond or get screenshots and share that review. So all of that is included. And something I just want to address, because we hear this a lot, some retailers think, well, why can't I just have you update it once, like claim and put my info on there and then never and not work with you again?
Yeah.
Like,
You
I'm not
don't do
listed
that
on.
monthly update.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're like, well, if I'm not listed, can't I just get listed one time and then I'm good for the most part? But here's the deal. We talked about the importance of updating regularly, right? Because of search results, it gives you more search engine optimization. It shows what's happening, what's current, what's relevant, what's now. But also, if you just went and plugged in your information once and then you canceled get listed service, so you're not using our technology anymore, those listings are going to start to change. It's sort of like if you go to a gym consistently, you're building muscle and you stay fit, but once you stop going to the gym, you're going to start losing those muscles. And so if you don't update the listing, like I mentioned, data aggregators, consumers, other listing sites can update that content for you because you don't have control over it. So you lock it in, you have that control with our software, and then we're updating it monthly. You get the reports.
So let me just see if because this to me is absolutely huge, because like I didn't know that this was happening until
Yeah.
we had our meeting here in Grand Haven, and you explained this to me. That, like, let's just say you're in a store location at your address, but it used to be, and you're a gift store, but it used to be a bike shop 10 years ago or whatever. And that address for the bike shop is still listed at, let's just say, the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah.
These spiders are going out and crawling, and it's getting that's going out and saying, oh, Better Business Bureau thinks that at 1234 Main Street, it's Joe's bike shop. And it's
Yep.
going to change the listings without you being able to control that. Did I get that right? It's like that's what happens ish.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So, they may never get changed or they might get changed a lot. In my
Yeah.
opinion, it's not worth it. This is your digital storefront. Like this is your digital signage. You should have control of all of those listings.
Yeah, and be updated, because I mean it's just better for your customers, as well as great for
Yeah.
search results and all those things. So hopefully, like, give us a thumbs up or yes or whatever in the chat if you like that. Like that kind of explains what get listed is a little bit. And Crystal, did you? So we looked at some results of just like current people that are not using get listed, regular retailers right here in West Michigan where we live. What about what does it look like if they are using Get Listed? Like some of the people that are using your service, what do their scans look like? Do you have that? I don't
Oh,
actually know. Do you like we didn't talk about this
yeah.
before, but do you have that? If you
My
don't have
team
it, it's
would. I don't know
okay.
if my team is on the call. I don't necessarily have
The
an
names of all the
address in
people.
front of me. I mean, what we could do too is like with the replay, we could send out some examples. That way I could get my team to plug them in
Yeah, like Rusty or
and show.
something like that, and like
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then one thing too is when you scan, if you have get listed, there will be like a little green thing that says you have get listed. And then you're going to see all those listings and where you're listed. It's going to have all the accurate information. But one thing I want to point out, and I'm really glad that you brought this up, is people might scan and it says that they have get listed, but they're like, but I don't. I'm not working with Crystal Media. I've never bought this through Crystal Media. The software that we use, other companies out there use it too. Like I mentioned, that big
big
boxes use
companies.
the
Yeah.
exact same software. Yeah. So what we've seen in the past is that a web developer maybe puts you on get listed, but it's still unmanaged. They're not going in. Typically, maybe some people are, but typically people are not going in and updating the listings every month like we do. And so you should, if you see that it says get listed, still click over and look at what your listings look like to see if it's new
Mhm.
photos, it's relevant to your store today.
Your accurate
And then
hours.
yes, exactly, because it might not be, you might be listed on all those platforms, which is great, but it might not be the newest, freshest information. And or we've also had retailers who they actually use the software and they log in and they're like, "Oh, you can do this for me." And so we just transfer over to us. Yeah.
Sign me up, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes,
who
exactly.
needs to do this? Okay, we've got a question. Indy's
Yeah.
raising her hand.
Yes.
Okay.
So Bailey is saying that she shares a building, an address, and a phone number with another business, a pharmacy business. So I'm thinking it's like a gift shop within a pharmacy or something like that. Would Get Listed be beneficial for them?
Definitely would be beneficial because we want their brand to get pulled through for that address, for their name, for the phone number. So we don't want any kind of confusion. I could see there being some confusion if somebody's searching and the pharmacy just keeps coming up, or they're having a hard time finding the retail store and they're like, wait, is it in the pharmacy? So then people might call. Well, do you have the right phone number that's listed? So they're able to talk to you and not call the pharmacy and then add more steps to the consumer. So I would absolutely say this would be a great solution to have build your own brand and create that customer confidence.
Yeah, that seems like it would be an absolutely, honestly, like a perfect example.
Exactly.
She's got another question.
Yes. Another question. There seems to be some confusion about how this plays into social media. Like Instagram, for instance, some people will have their hours listed on Instagram. Does Get Listed have anything to do with that?
Yeah, so I believe that I know with Facebook, we can update hours and information there. I don't think that Instagram's API is open for us to automatically update that over there. This is definitely a great question for my team. So I can double check with them and we can include that answer in the replay.
Sure.
But I'm pretty certain that we can do with Facebook, but Instagram, you're going to still have to update on your own.
Yeah. But the good thing is like with Instagram, you actually can go in and make the change and it
Exactly.
actually will update. I think the frustrating thing with so many people is like you go into some of these places like Yelp or whatever and you're trying to update the hours or the info and it doesn't stick or it
Exactly.
never yeah, it doesn't stick or it doesn't
Yep,
ever actually update. And does
exactly.
this technology that you use actually makes the update changes properly?
Exactly. Yep, you have that control. And that's what it's
And
all about, having
and so
control.
so what if like something like you're like you've decided that right now your hours are X, but like halfway through December you decide you want to extend your hours even more. Can you call up your manager at Crystal Media for your Get Listed and like tell
Yep.
them to make a change like in the middle of your normal
Oh,
cycle?
yes, absolutely. Yep. With some of the
Awesome.
sites, that's where we say up to 72 hours because some of them might not automatically update right away. Some of them do. And then some of them take up to 72 hours. But yeah, if you have a change mid-month, end of month, whenever, let your listings manager know so we can get that change in.
That's awesome. So like 3 days, you should be accurate. That's huge because like
Mhm.
I know that this is such a huge frustration that so many people have. I love
Exactly.
this.
Yes.
I love this. Okay. Well, good news, guys. Crystal has agreed to give a special deal for me and Bob and all of our whiz bang retailers. And she's going to offer her get listed service for like 20% off. So this is an annual service, right, Crystal? Like you sign it for a whole year so that you get the benefits over the time. So the normally it's $1,999 for the year. And so this would make it $1,599, $400 off. You got to use the coupon code WHIZBANG. So Indy's going to put the links in here. And is this the same link, Crystal, where they can go and look for the scan? Like you said, they can put their own info in the scan tool. Is it
We
on
have
the?
a different we have a different link that they'll use, but I know that your team has it. And
Yeah,
so we'll
yeah.
send out
She's
their
putting it
scan
in.
link.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh
she's got both.
perfect.
So you
Yeah.
can do the scan. So, but when you're ready to sign up, use code
Yeah.
WHIZBANG, 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 like WHIZBANG Trading, and you're going to get 20% off. And this special deal that we've worked out with Crystal is good now through Sunday, November 12th. So it's like 6 days or 5 days that we're there that you can sign up for this special deal. Guys, do it now. 3 days. In 3 days, well before the Black Friday, well before the Thanksgiving holiday traffic, well before Christmas shopping in December, all of this stuff is going to get fixed, right?
Yes,
So I,
exactly.
you know, I I can see that you could make up this revenue, make revenue to pay for this whole year of service in a weekend potentially.
Yes.
Like it's like this is such a good investment in your business. I just can't even believe it. And not only that, it's easy for you. It doesn't take your time. Like
Right.
I mean, who like anybody out there actually updating their online listings every single month? Is anybody doing it? If you are, raise your hand, give yourself a pat on the back.
You are. I applaud you.
I
Yes.
do too, because like I don't think like even our platinum mastermind group members, our very best retailers, I don't know that any of them are doing this manually by themselves. Like um you know, updating, and it's so important. Like just you continue to blow my mind even more today, even more than our conversation when you were out a month ago, on actually how super important this is
Yeah.
for
Well, and
local
that is
businesses.
something, we've been doing this for years and we were talking internally like this is so important. Like this is so foundational. We really need retailers to know about this offering. And I mean, with the discount, that's 1,597 for an entire year. So that's the software, that's the management, that's the reporting. It's a full year done for you, which we wanted to make it as easy as possible for the retailers to participate because we feel like it's so foundational. It's something that you have to have if you have a local store. So, and I just want to point out to do Whizbang as all caps. That'll get you your $400 off. And I just want to say thank you for bringing this attention to your audience because we obviously have the same passion and the
Totally.
same desire to help our retailers succeed.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the most hands-off things that retailers can do to really show up and show up with their best foot forward without spending all that time doing it themselves.
Yeah, and honestly, if you start to break that down into a monthly amount, it's such a tiny like to get it for all 12 months for this price is such a deal. And I didn't even remember to say about the reporting. Like you did mention that, and that's huge too. Can you say a little
Mhm.
bit more about what the reporting is that comes with this?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to give you the information on how many times your business is coming up in the search results. And so you can start seeing, like, where was I before and where am I now? We have a toy store that has 9 store locations. They're averaging 182,000 views per store since being on Get Listed. And
Per store,
so,
not even just across the 9,
per
182,000
store.
per store.
Yes. So
Awesome.
I mean, I can't guarantee those kinds of results for
Sure.
everybody, but you're going to be able to see what your search volume is through those reports.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
That was actually one of the questions is what measurables can they look at to make sure it's worth the money?
There you
Yeah.
go. And the reporting is going to come with it. Like, as you see your search volume increase, you know that you're getting in front of more customers and that what they see is more accurate, more
Yeah.
complete, more relevant, more enticing. We always talk about marketing as this idea of all the ways that all the activities that we do and the ways that we touch our customers that make them eager to buy. And I mean, you could just think about your own personal experience when you're online and you're looking for something and you look at these on and you look at that, it ends up all kind of aggregating up into that Google business profile. Like, it goes out and searches and like feeds you up more. And if you've got a
Yeah.
really, really robust, local online presence, more customers are going to shop with you. They're going to shop with you in the store. They're probably going to, more of them are going to shop with you on your e-commerce site as well. Because that
Yeah.
button that says website right there. And that's what I do. I'm like, I'm going to go look. Oh, click. I'm going to go to their website and now I can buy it, or I'm going to learn more about them. So it's going to drive
Yes.
traffic to your website too.
I want
Right.
to, and to that point, I have some stats here too.
Oh, good.
19% of local businesses don't even have their URL on their listings on
What?
average. 19% of local businesses do not have their URL. So, well, if you sell online, we want that baby on all those listing websites. That's some good search engine optimization juice for you. So, yeah, that will definitely help web traffic. Also, another metric that obviously this is not in your reporting, but our customers report to us that people come in with their phone from the listing and say, like, oh, I want this, like there's a picture, or oh, hey, here's that featured message, I can get 10% off or whatever that they're bringing in. So it shows them that it's actually converting. When you see those things, I really recommend you train your team to report that, so you know those things are converting and you're seeing that kind of foot traffic directly from the listings.
Yeah. Crystal, do you know, and maybe you don't know this question, but like, going back to the question about what kind of metrics and analytics should we be looking at? Do you know if like if they're clicking on that local, like the website from Yelp or the website from Google Business Profile or those things, and are those analytics getting reported in like Google Webmaster Tool, so you could see an actual increase in web traffic specifically from these different aggregators?
So yes, as long as the retailer has the right type of tracking turned on in Google Analytics. And so
Okay.
ideally all e-com, or if you just have a regular website, you have Google Analytics.
Yes.
If you do sell online, you want conversion tracking turned on so you can see where the actual sale came from, because yes, you could see that somebody clicked on, your MapQuest or your Dext or your whatever, and then went and shopped. And then if they purchase something too, if you have all of that set up on Google's backend, so that wouldn't
Yeah.
be a get listed thing, but
No,
that
no,
would
no,
be
I
a
know.
yeah,
But I just like you, but that does all pull into your Google
right,
Analytics so that you can check and see. All right. That's because
exactly,
like my mind is just like clicking away for this. Like, I just love this. I think this is so awesome. All right,
yeah.
guys, what do you think? Tell me what you think. Put your comments in the chat there and let me know if you've learned a lot today. I know that I learned so much about, like, I even learned stuff today that we didn't talk about when you were out here a month ago.
Yeah.
So much, whether or not you're using Get Listed, you have to focus on this part of your business. It's really, really important. get listed seems to me like being an absolute no-brainer of an investment. Like, just you can get, the investment comes back just in direct in-store sales, not to mention all the other benefits that you get for your company. It's so easy, a 20-minute form to fill out, and then Crystal's team does everything else for you, including the monthly updates, including the reporting. What else am I missing? Like that, and like it's just like it is a phenomenal investment in a absolutely foundational piece of your business.
Yes.
So
Susan, when you looked up to look at me to say, what am I missing? I was thinking you were asking Indy. And so I'm
no,
waiting
I'm
for
looking
Indy
at
to
you.
reply. And I'm
What
like,
am I
no, that
missing?
was my cue.
You're right up.
That's my cue.
Your face is right above my camera
Right
right
about,
right
yes.
now.
Yes, but no, you got it. I mean, it's control, it's foundational. It's stopping you from being the best kept secret where people are not finding you. You've got to show up, and it's your digital storefront. It's your online visibility. It's your digital footprint is what we say a lot. Like it's all about
Mhm.
growing your digital footprint, and we of course can do that for you. And
Yeah,
we'd be
it's just
honored
it.
to help you.
I like it. I like your this idea. Like it's your storefront. It's and the pictures make it almost like them walking by and
Mhm.
looking in your store windows. Like it
Yes.
really is that. I
Yes.
I
I
think
always
that's
say you want to bring the physical world to the digital world and in as many platforms as possible because again the consumer has so many choices and they're shopping in so many different places and we want to show up as many times as we can. So
yeah.
as much as we can bring that physical storefront into that world with the photos, with the categories, with the products, with the consumer no brands, all of that is going to just create a way better experience for your customers and of course help you get found for that. And I want to circle back real quick because I look to see the green monkey. I was like, what does one of our clients look like on their scan report? Because you
Yeah.
asked that. So I scanned them real quick. And basically, what will happen is it says they have get listed. And then on all the listing sites, it will just say if there are reviews or not. And then you can click over and see how we've optimized and things like that. But the green monkey in Raleigh, North Carolina is somebody that anybody can check out and run if they wanted to
Mhm.
do a scan. So
Yeah, that's great. And then they don't have any of those red X's or
exactly.
that's the thing is you don't
Yeah.
have any of those inconsistencies or missing information. That's what you want to look for, right? So I love
Exactly.
it. That's fantastic. All right, guys. I think you should do it. That's why we had Crystal come and talk to us about this because we loved this service when she came and talked to us about it. She's giving us a special deal for Whizbang, 20% off. We're going to run that special through Sunday, midnight on Sunday. So use your coupon code Whizbang, WHIZBANG in all caps, to get your discount. Fill out your form, takes about 20 minutes, and 72 hours later, you're listed. Like it's
Yeah.
so easy. It's so important. And what a great investment. I just think it's a phenomenal, phenomenal service that you're offering, Crystal. And so I just have to say thank you for doing that for our retailers because I know how important it is. I know how busy you guys all are. And this just like takes one thing right off your to-do list. Yeah, we've got a question.
If someone wants to reach out with more questions, where should I direct them?
Oh, great. Great.
Yep. So hello at crystalmediaco.com is our team email. There's a team that's on that. That's the fastest way. If
Okay.
you want to book a call with somebody to just like learn more, if you have additional questions, Pauline on my team, you can book a call. We can send the link with that on for her calendar. But basically, yeah, it's a Calendly link that I don't have memorized. But maybe I can pull it up real quick actually.
Okay.
Pauline J. Blassetti, if you want to book a call. Pauline J. Blassetti.
ETTI on
Yep.
Calendly. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
Indy's gonna like magically find that for us. She's frantically looking for that over there. So, but it's hello at crystalmedia.co.
Crystalmediaco.com.
.com. Okay, that's what I was just double checking. I was like, did I hear that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So hello at crystalmedia.co. co.com.
You got it. Yeah.
Great. And she's putting it in the link, so you can just click on it too. So you can send them an email, or you can book a call with Pauline. So that's easy. That's a great question. Any other questions or comments before we sign off?
Everybody's just saying this is great information.
Yeah.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, it was for us too. That's why we were like, Crystal, let's book this. These people need to know this before the holidays. Again, holidays, this is so important because those gift givers, they may not know about you. Maybe the folks who are the gift recipients might know about you, but the gift givers, they're searching, and you need to show up consistently in these results. So Crystal, I just can't thank you enough. I appreciate you. And I know all of our retailers love what you do and appreciate the work you do for our community as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Susan. Right back at you. We love what you do for your community, and we're just grateful for you guys. And thank you for having me here and enlightening people about local listings.
Yes.
Thank you for everybody for listening. And I just hope you do take your listings serious because they really do matter.
They really, really do matter. That's my number one takeaway is how important this actually is. Like, no matter how you do it, you got to do it. You got to do it. So
exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Susan. Bye. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. Don't forget to join the Rise and Shine newsletter, which is social media news you need to know, sent via email every Monday morning. Go to crystalmediaco.com/rise to join. And don't miss the newest episode of Rooted in Retail, which drops every Sunday morning.